Welcome in to a special edition of the Sports Stove Local Hour. Today we're presented by Dr. Stereo down here in Richmond, where they bring music and movies to life. We're going to talk more about them, but they've been kind enough to let us use one of their rooms in their showroom. And so we sure appreciate everyone at Dr. Stereo here in Richmond. You have a man cave or a awesome basement, or you want to have a man cave or an awesome basement, you need to call Dr. Stereo to come out, get everything hooked up for you. Some phenomenal stuff here. We'll share a commercial from them later on as well. Well, today, though, we've got a special guest for you. Actually, we've got 5 special guests. Well, 4 special guests and Jonathan Duff are all here today, and we're excited here. This has been in the making for quite some time. We've been planning for it, preparing for it, and excited that we can do it. We've got 5 guys that have been here for 5 or 6 years. And are now graduated, as we said, in Tennessee growing up, and they're ready for the next things in life. And we're excited to talk about their careers and the things that they experienced here at EKU as well. So we've got Jonathan Duff, we've got Ryan Jackson, we've got Payton Collins, Darrian Baker, and Vincent Munlin are all with us. Guys, how you doing?
Doing all right. How you doing?
Good.
Well, I'm excited to get some stories from you guys. Here's some things that you guys have experienced in your college careers, and I know you guys have spent a lot of time together, so this should be a fun time together. And I know we'll talk about your guys' futures as well coming up here at the end of the program also. But let's start off. I want to start off with your first memory, or the memory you have of your very first play, so your very first snap on the field. What do you remember about it? It was a long time ago, right?
Sure.
So your very first snap, if you can, give us what game it was, if you remember, and feelings about it. Payton, we'll start with you.
Mine was well, if you want to offensive line start or like any start.
Yeah, your first time on the field in a real game.
It was the second to last game in the 2019 season. They put me on a PAT field goal, and I ran out there the first time, and I was super nervous, and I actually got blown up pretty good. I ended up on the ground and stuff. That was like my first start on the field, but then the O-line start was in 2020 against Marshall, and I was like super light. I was probably like 275, and nervous as heck, and it was a good game, but I was super nervous for that game. Yeah.
Ryan, first time on the field, real game.
My first time on the field in a real game, I believe, was like Marshall. I know we was getting drugged through the mud in Marshall. It was really funny because my parents came to the game, and Matt Jackson was on the team at this time, and they heard on the crowd it was like tackled by Jackson, and my parents was like the only 2 people that like blew up. Because people I don't think were there, so it was actually Matt Jackson on the tackle. I wasn't even in the game yet, so that was a funny time. But I remember just kind of being out there because it was a lot of big people. Don't know what team we was playing against at that point because it's 59 to nothing. I think we were losing pretty good. And I was just out there kind of floating around playing, trying to get my feet wet and just having fun. So that's all I kind of remember about my first start.
Yeah, mine was the first punt against Western Carolina my sophomore year. So I didn't play it all my first year. My sophomore year, we actually brought in a Power 5 transfer. And so then we had the position battle, and that was like a camp. That was probably like one of the worst camps, honestly. It ended up being cool because I won the job for punts at the time, and he was doing field goals, and then ended up doing both after a few games. But it was like we didn't know until Thursday, after Thursday practice, going into the game, we were traveling Friday. I didn't know until Thursday night that I was starting. So, for all of camp, I had been the 2 where we'd been jockeying back and forth. And, there would be, a day in camp. I remember one time, field goal to win at the end of practice, which is, the whole team gets around. And, I would snap, and if it would be a bad one, it'd be like, Duff, get out, Grant's in. And then Grant would snap, and it'd be a bad one. And we jockeyed back and forth 5 times in one fit. And it's only supposed to be 2 snaps in the game, you're done with practice. And so I think the whole team hated us for that. But, that was kind of surreal. I just remember Western Carolina, first game, didn't know until Thursday. I went out there, and I completely blacked out and didn't remember it at all. I just remember going on the field and coming off. So that was it.
What do you think?
My first plays was against Marshall, which has been a common theme, but we was getting drugged. I mean, I got in earlier than a lot of people. I think I was the first of my class in the field, so that was fun, but it wasn't fun because they was all 25-year-olds out there, like all in their last COVID year. I looked at the scouting report earlier in the week. This is the first scouting report I've ever seen in college at all. All of them are redshirt seniors. They're all like Payton's age now. I mean, I don't really remember much, but
Sure, your knee
was fun. Huh? No,
that was
Jada.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Mine is pretty much the same as them. Mine was Marshall also. Yeah, we're getting beat pretty bad. Got in towards the end, got in for Payton, and did a little something there. And then I was light as I don't know what, about 240. And then literally that next week, they moved me to tight end. So I should tell you a lot there.
So did you guys, when you look back at that, you go, okay, yeah, you guys got it early on with that Marshall game, it's drugging, so you guys get to play. And then as you aged in your careers, did you, obviously you were hoping it would go the other direction as far as you guys beating them. But when you got to see the young guys get their opportunities, did it ever make you think back to when I stepped out there that first time, kind of just, you know, how it felt, I guess?
Yeah, for sure. And our right guard this year, who started most of the year, he's a true freshman. And yeah, I can't imagine, you know, I started I was a redshirt freshman. I can't imagine having to come in to college at Division I level and start as a true freshman. I don't know if I could have handled it. So kudos to him. And he actually just got freshman All-American, which is awesome. So yeah, I can imagine starting my very true freshman year, but yeah, just helping him along the way. But yeah, so I was happy about that.
Yeah, shout out to Tyrell Green and to Marcus Calwise, getting their first. They'll get more.
Yeah, way more.
But for the first of those, for sure. You guys are talking about weight and size and all that kind of stuff. And we talked a lot over the last couple of years about guys like Jeremiah Bailey that came in. Marcus Calwise this year that comes in like they're not light. He came in like there, it seems like, as well. How far did you feel like you had to come when you stepped on campus the first time? Like, did you realize how small you were then? Or is it when you walked in, you, oh my goodness, like those guys are, I gotta add some weight.
What's crazy, our freshman year, a lot of us actually came in a little bit heavier than what we probably were supposed to be because it was COVID and we were doing more eating other than BT. We was doing more eating than anything. So a lot of us are like bigger at the time. One thing I do remember about freshman year, which all the freshmen are lucky they don't have to do this, we had to do O-line and D-line lift only during COVID. So our freshman class of just overweight offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and BT, we were running, sprinting. Coach Brown was killing us for a while. Like, I remember there was a week stretch where we didn't even go to the weight room because we couldn't do push-ups, we couldn't do sit-ups as a group, and it was bad. So I know we had to change our bodies eventually, and it was thanks to Coach Brown we changed it a lot faster and had to. But yeah, changing our bodies is something you have to do, especially throughout college.
You came in big, D-Bake.
I came in at 310 alpha COVID. I was huge.
Yeah,
I got down to 290 before camp was over, and that was like a 3-month span.
What are you now?
I'm like I played at like 280 this year.
Yeah. Wow. So was your, Vincent, was yours different as far as?
Yeah, mine was a lot more different. See, I didn't start big, so coming in at 238, and I just, after the season, after 2020 season, I just basically just locked in, told my mom, hey, I got to put this weight on. I mean, that's the only way I'm going to get on the field, because I remember Coach Losi, when he was here at the time, he kept saying to me, he's like, hey, if you get to 280, you'll be starting. If you get to 280, you'll be starting. So that just kind of lingered in the back of my head and kind of gave me motivation to put the weight on. And I've been 285. I mean, I got up to 302, but now I'm 285 right now. So I've been able to get pick my weight up. So yeah, it's been a blessing.
So I'm curious of what your guys' first impressions of Coach Wells was, because all of you were recruited by the previous group, right?
I mean, I was recruited by both.
Okay.
Yeah, I was good about both.
Okay. Yeah, but most of you were committed with Elder, correct?
I wasn't. No, I committed with Wells. I was Wells' first commit. So.
Okay.
I was committed.
I can't exactly remember if I was committed with both of them.
Yeah, I knew you guys were. So Wells comes in, starts the recruiting process. Some of you he's trying to keep. someone who's trying to get committed. What's your first impression of Walt Wells?
It was scary. Yeah, because they came in obviously after this 2019 season, and we started that 2020 spring off season with them, and it was fine, like going through just workouts for a little bit, and then we started our fourth quarter program and stuff, and I got to meet Coach Losey as well, who's a very tough coach, and just the whole coaching staff's culture was a lot different from the previous coaching staffs, and yeah, it was pretty scary. I remember like there were so many people that were not on the team after the first couple of fourth quarters, like including my dorm roommate, and then I have to get up early in the morning and see him sleeping, and I'd like slam the door because I was so mad leaving. Like, but no, it was like a culture shock for me. Like I was like, oh crap, like no, they're definitely some tough coaches. But yeah, it was scary, but then I knew it was going to be good for me.
Yeah. Now, Ryan, you were pretty excited about it after you met Wells, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, mostly excited, but I agree with Payton. Dude's crazy. But he's crazy in a good way. Crazy and respectable. Like, he's one of those people who's hard-headed, but you love him to death. And the more and more you get to know him, the more and more you understand his reasons behind some things. And, like, especially some of us was in the players board this year, like, getting to meet, like, the real personal version of him and, like, how much he really does care and put into the team. Yeah, Coach Wells is a great guy, and I'm happy I got to be a part of this team.
Duff, your first impression?
Yeah, well, when he got the job, like his first in-home visit was to go talk to Rhino, and he was trying to get him to, stay committed, and I was committed, and I'd met Rhino on a visit already, and my first impression wasn't even talking to him. It was actually Rhino texting me after that visit saying, stay committed, stay committed, you're going to want to play for this guy. And then he ended up giving me a phone call and was able to get me down on Wells gave me a phone call one weekend, like right after he visited Rhino, and told me to come on a visit the next day. I showed up the next day, and I mean, yeah, all good impressions as far as just, I remember being like, okay, he's very serious. Like this, this is a new level in the sense of football, just because everything was getting more real. And obviously, as a long snapper, like I didn't really have much face-to-face time with the coaches, especially prior. That's one thing I did like about Coach Wells is like I had a lot of talking with him once I committed versus like I really just talked to the coordinator before. But yeah, just that it was serious, it was business, but also that I could just trust him. Kept his promises.
I would agree with Duff. Like that was a big thing. Like the last coaching staff, I ain't gonna go too far deep into it, but I was at a camp and they already offered me, and they didn't even come say what's up. And I was at the camp, and it was a mega camp, so they was already obviously trying to get to other people. But Wells definitely like had more face-to-face contact with you. Like he's the one contacting you, not just your position coach or your defensive coordinator. I mean, they were talking to me too, but Wells was a instrumental like part in the recruiting process also.
My first impression of Wells, man. I didn't really know how to feel about. I mean, I ain't really had no thought, if that makes sense, because when I met Wells, that's when the transition was happening from the old staff to the new staff. And literally that weekend I met Wells. I was supposed to come to EKU for a visit, but I was coming for a visit with that old staff. And then literally in between that week, they got fired. So then here comes Wells, and I mean, this is my first visit ever. You feel what I'm saying? So I didn't know what to expect, honestly. He seemed cool and everything. And I mean, he talked good. And
we got a good dinner.
Yeah, we had a good dinner too. Real good dinner. He took us, I don't know where that place, someplace in Lexington.
Brazilian steakhouse.
Yeah, it was real good. But I just remember them telling me that he was an offensive line coach for so many years, and then he was showing me different offensive line tapes and showing me people like Trey Smith and all that different stuff. And I was just like, yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. This is the type of guy I want to be under. So, yeah, that was my first impression.
Yeah, it seems like anytime that I've been around any of the programs here at EKU, food is like a centerpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like after basketball practice, the guys are putting in their order from somebody, to go get food. And Wells knows how to do this.
Yes, he does.
Things are good there. First impression of your position coach. So you brought Losi up, and so let's go with that route too. Because not only are you committed to the head coach, you're also committed to the guys that are coaching you as well. So.
Yeah, I went from my freshman year. I had Coach Hope, who was at the time maybe mid-60s, older guy, very reserved, I guess. So I went from that to Coach Losey, who at the time was probably 36 years old and in shape and tons of energy. And the whole coaching staff's mentality was like, let's come in here, let's see how many we can weed out, and let's see, who is really tough and who really cares about football. Keep going. But yeah, Coach Losey, as all of us here know, he came in hot and heavy and ready to go, and I've never experienced something like that before. But no, he was an awesome coach, and I'm glad that he came to EKU. So.
All right, so we still got your audio going. I gotta fix the video back on here again. But since we still got the audio going, go ahead.
Can I go with Losi? Can I finish with Losi?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. My first impression of Losi, I don't know, he's just a very intense guy, man. He just came to work every day, man. You couldn't really tell that man had a bad day, honestly. I mean, he had his bad days, and no matter what he was going through. Yeah, no matter what he was going through, man. He just come in, just ready to work.
Just giving you his all every single day.
And at times,
it was rough to deal with him after a lot, but man, I just love the fact that I was able to experience that. That was truly a blessing going to Losi.
Because Losi, honestly, got amazing.
I'll start with Coach Hogg on both, and I'll give my first on that. Coach Hogg was just, he's about the business. He was great, which everybody knows. You can see now, like, he's reaping the business. He's recruiting, top recruiting in Sunday. He's a great recruiter. He got all of us to come here, so I'll give him that. But my first impression of him, he was just out of business. He's real, like, he's going to sit down with you. He's going to worry about you as a person, try to make you a better man after you've done football and everything. So he's just a great person. And then with Matt, my first impression was this high energy guy, loves football. And he's just a little bit crazy. A little bit crazy. He wasn't as crazy at first in the spring. Don't know why, but once fall camp came, it was unhinged.
Yeah, what you said about Coach Hawk is right. He's about business, and Coach Hawk was big on like trust, and that's how we kind of like communicated through trust and talking stuff out and being I don't know what's the word. Whatever. But Coach Hawk was a great guy, great coach. Coach Mathis was definitely a change of pace, a lot more in your face, a lot more energetic, a lot more like detail. And he was over communicating the detail, and it was a good change of pace for a bunch of older guys who was kind of used to the same trust and same comfortability to get something new and a change of pace and stuff. And it was exciting, and I think it was a good throw to have for our last year. Something different.
Definitely a great thing that happened to us in our last year. I feel like you take something from every single coach, even if it is a change, it's not a bad change, especially being there for 4 years. And then having the next year, you can take what the old coach taught you for 4 years, and that last year, your new coach and implementing all these new things, so you can not get a meshing of you pretty much have 2 D-line coaches now.
Yeah, I also had 2 coaches, but my first impression was actually with Coach A, who obviously is now was my coach now, and especially was coordinator. He was actually, so it was weird about like when I took that visit and I was already committed, but I was kind of talking to other schools because I didn't know how it all worked with the new coaching staff coming in and everything. So like Coach J kind of like career-freed me in a sense, I was still committed the whole time, so kind of interesting. But he like took me and my mom around on a golf cart and like spent the whole day with me, and that was my first impression of any coach that wasn't Wells. And I remember just thinking he was super cool. Like I was just like, this guy's so chill. Like keep in mind too, like he's like young, and I am the youngest of 7 kids, and my oldest brother is now like 42. So I have siblings older than him. So it was kind of crazy, like in that realm. But yeah. Oh yeah. It's a wide age range, but I just remember being like, he's so cool, and he also recruited my roommate at the time that I lived with for 4 years, Reese Adkins, and so it was cool for him having 2 guys who recruited, like living together and stuff. So that was cool. And then Coach McKeon, he ended up being the special teams coordinator for 2 or 3 years, some kind of 3 years, I guess. So it was 5 years here. But
And he was just like a good dude. Like that's really my first impression of Keith was he was just like a good dude and like super genuine and just like really cared about his people.
Yeah. That seems like a common thread with Wells' staff is family oriented. I know, we talked with Matt Jackson and his parents and about just how much Coach Day stepped up for Matt with his daughter and stuff like that too. And Wells was always welcoming to that kind of stuff. And I think that's pretty cool that the staff has been consistently family oriented as a whole. All right, we're going to go on both sides of the spectrum, but give me a play or a game that still haunts you.
All right, I can go first. Actually, I'll just go first because we don't know Greg. We all know mine. It happened last Saturday. Yeah, I've never given up a safety before, and no longer say that. I'm giving 40 whatever of my career, so that's definitely the one that's going to haunt me.
Yeah.
Mine was actually probably 2020 Troy. I just wish. I mean, it was COVID years, very hard year, new staff, and FBS team, and we literally took the lead, and then they, made kicked a long field goal, and we lost by 1 or something like that, and it was just crushing. That would have been just an awesome part of the season, and made it a lot better. And we worked so hard, and for that outcome, it was crushing. I was like, but that actually also made me realize, like, Wells always says that was the first time I kind of actually realized, like, just because you work hard doesn't mean you're going to get the outcome. So it's kind of like a life lesson, but that was terrible walking off the field at Troy,
I was probably last game too, Villanova, the last play. I'm just not being able to get it, man. Like, we were really right there.
Yeah.
Right there. We would have been playing last week. You know what I'm saying? Possibly playing this week. Yeah. And it just sucks. Like, we left that out there on the field, and we'll never get that back. But hey, it's memories now. Right? We can enjoy it.
That's for sure.
Anybody else?
The one play that haunts me is probably just the whole last year's season, the whole season, bro. We lost I don't know what it was. We lost 5 games, one section, but we also we won 3-1. Just also the Central Arc play is still really annoying. Like, I couldn't do much more than I did on that play. Just happened. That is what happens sometimes. One play that haunts me this year is I almost had a sack. I had a great move, almost had a sack. And in our team meeting, our defensive meeting, always they attacked the ball, and I went and attacked the ball, and I missed.
I'll say definitely the 2023 season, but the UK game last year, that's one I wish we could get back because a lot of momentum was going our way, and I wish we would have capitalized on it. And second half, we had to play better, and we were really in a dogfight, and the energy was awesome. It was a crazy environment, and it just seemed like it was our night to finally beat somebody like that. So I wanted that game back.
Yeah. I know there were so many last plays, both wins and losses, right? Through his career. So let's go play or game that has your best on-field memory.
Best on the field.
I got my first play against Cardinal. We split the double teams. PFL.
The crazy story. It
was funny because
I was on the sideline, and I don't know why Gabe told me, because we were talking about being the Hammer and not the nail that week. We were coming out and playing being the Hammer. Anybody that knows Gabe drives whatever coach says throughout the entire week. And he's, hey, bro, when you get this tackle, dude, you need to go do the Hammer celebration after you get tackled. But no, I got the first play. Ready to right, did the Hammer celebration. It was awesome. That was a good play. I like it.
One of mine was it was a Bowling Green game, but it was I forget which overtime. It's probably 5 or 6. I went to 7, but it's probably the 5th or 6th overtime, and we're on the sideline in the huddle, and
Like,
Like they called a play where they pitched it to Drew, and it was right tackle at the time, and I was just like run out on the field, like smiling so big, like I was so excited for this play, and then I just see him get drilled, like he wasn't even close. Like, oh my gosh, I'm about to win it on a tackle touchdown, like he just gets drilled. And, yeah, I think that's probably like one of the funniest, they're like the funniest moments of my career.
Yeah, mine would be the field goal winning team. One, just because I'd never, like, I'd had field. We played so many one-possession games, and I did so many field goals or PATs to tie the game. I never snapped a field goal win. But also, like, it was just crazy because I think we had a timeout. I don't know if you guys remember this, but we had a timeout. We, like, ran a play. What? Yeah, we don't talk about that. But no, I remember we like had a timeout, we ran a play, and I'm like, I was just kind of like chilling because I thought we were gonna call the timeout and then go out there. And they started calling for a Hurley's field goal, which is just we run on and snap it and go. There's like 17 seconds left. I was like, oh my gosh! So like I get on my horse and I'm going, and I get on the ball, and they're subbing because we're subbing and they're allowed to do that, and I have to just snap it as soon as Cam says we're all ready. And we're just hoping that the time doesn't run out. And they had this like massive nose guard run on the field, and he just literally like kneed me in the head, like right in his temple. And the ball went rolling over there, so I had to go grab the ball, bring it back. The rest not doing anything. And I go to snap it, and I hear a whistle. And I thought we called a timeout, but it was Stemo's quarterback. Ran onto the field in front of his coaches, called a timeout, and so they wanted us in that situation. They called the timeout for us. I think we may have hit the practice kick. I don't know. But I just remember going on the sideline being like, what just happened? What? Yeah, I think we did.
I just remember being
We thought we were going to stay
so hard.
Yeah, we also jumped on that.
We also should have been called back.
Yeah.
Thankfully they missed it.
Yeah, which was in between you and me.
Yeah.
And the worst thing for me, I can't, like, if someone on, like, my side jumps, it's like, it like makes me want to jump, and it was just, I forgot about that.
Fans were going nuts.
Yeah,
I didn't like that. All the social media it was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Timeout.
Yeah, I don't know if we had a timeout, or maybe it was like second down, and then when it's just like it was one of the to go out on.
There was one, was it last year or 2 years ago, that you guys were prepared for it, I believe. Where coach said, hey, as soon as this play's done, we'll run out and run the field goal shoot on. But you guys had a timeout in that one. I don't remember what game that was now.
Did we run it? Did we run the field goal?
Yeah. Yeah, you ran the team out, kicked the field goal and made it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Remember that?
That might have been Steve-O.
Like,
We made it.
And then they called the timeout.
So I'm pretty sure
Pat did it twice.
Yeah.
He did make it.
I'm pretty sure it's
He made one before the Austin Peay.
Oh, maybe.
He missed the first one. I thought.
Did he?
He missed the first one. He missed the first one. Yes. He missed the first one.
We got saved. I remember that. Wow. We got saved.
Yeah, that was
crazy, guy.
Yeah.
We played the same game.
So,
I mean, some of the game because coming off what happened that whole week prior, like hard came and all that. That was one of my favorite games from last year. Was this random. All getting the sack, I don't know why. That was the most excited I've ever been for a play in my life. I don't know why. I didn't do anything, but it was my most excited about the not the pick. I mean, that was fun, but when I make plays, I just black out. Like, it's blacking out.
More picks than
I had more picks. I was talking second and third. Mike, me and Mattis.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the Wells heart attack. I have that on the list for lower, but it was a crazy weekend. And it was, you guys went through camp, getting ready for the season. Then all of a sudden, it was Sunday. I remember because I'm at church, and I started getting messages asking me what's going on at EKU. I don't know what you're talking about. I know nothing, right? And then they started to trickle out a little bit, and they were really coy about what happened for a while. And until Wells spoke, all you ever heard was a medical emergency, and then he he's like heart attack. And they still won't call it that, but cardiac episode, I think is what they call it now. But I mean, again, we talked about it earlier. You guys' first impressions. Immediately there was respect. There was all this. He builds this culture of family, team. And I mean, right before the first game of the season, boom, this major thing happens. So talking about just kind of the moment you heard what happened, or it wasn't even a little bit less than that, you just heard something happen. You didn't know what was going on. And like, what was that process of trying to figure out, is he okay? And then that transition to now we got to focus on football again.
I was still at my house, I think, because we practiced.
Sunday because we played on Friday. It was
Monday. Before we played,
we played Friday. It wasn't practice. So we had like the weird like lift groups. Like we had the whole day because we didn't have class. We did lift in the morning and night.
and then we
defensive lift. I remember like
I was scared. We were just scared. We just had lift, bro.
We were having it after that.
I was very. I remember being
I remember us being at lift and it was kind of like just like a panic around the place. Like nobody really knew what was happening.
they all outside the building.
Yeah.
You guys in inside, we were still lifting.
Yeah, we were still lifting. We were in the middle of lift.
Lifting.
And then I know there's ambulances and all this shit.
the training room.
I was in the
Felt
training
better.
room.
People came in screaming.
There was only two of us, and I can't remember who the second person is now.
But I remember. No,
I
I
can't remember who the second person is,
which is
probably good
because I
remember they were like
not helping
the situation.
I remember that too. I don't know what they were like standing up.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I was in the training room just doing like maintenance rehab on staff. I think it was a regular week where we had like I was in the training room. One of the person was in there, and one of our coaches came running down the stairs, and he screamed something. And all of a sudden, all the trainers like took off. And the rest went upstairs. And I was sitting there, and I was like, I couldn't even understand what he yelled. Like that's how crazy it was. It was like, oh. And I was like, what's going on? And they all ran upstairs, and they kind of were piecing it together. But I remember the person next to me was not piecing anything together, and like helping, and like was speculating, and like I just remember being like I had to look at the person and be like, you gotta shut up, like stop talking. Like honestly, I can't remember, but they were like trying to ask the trainers for some kind of. Like, for them to do something creative like that.
oh, I'm not getting sprayed.
No. It wasn't that. But I just remember it was like, there's obviously, you didn't know, like, there's something more important going on here right now. Like, shut up. So we ended up getting, they held us in the training room. And then I remember, like, because all the specialists always show up everywhere kind of early. And they were all like walking in, and then they were getting yelled at. They had no idea why they were getting yelled at. And they're like, just go to the training rooms. And they all met in the training room. So we had like a huddle in the training room, a huddle in the weight room, and they cleared out the entire thing for all the medical professionals. But that was crazy. Yeah, and it was terrifying because we went to lift right after. Coach Brown has to address all of us like we didn't just see something horrible. And I mean, literally like the leader of our program and our coach, like, and Coach Brown has no idea. It's his boss. He has no idea what he's supposed to do in this. So he's just like, I mean, I know he wants us to keep preparing. So we like lifted, we had practice, we had all this stuff. I'm sorry, a side note on that. I remember I've missed one breakfast check in my entire career.
This guy.
No, it was the next day. I had to get asked by, I won't name who, I had to get asked by a coach on the staff at the time if I was taking advantage of Coach Wells being gone. I was so like,
I know you're talking about.
Please tell me who it is, because they were being satire.
You know who it is.
no,
they weren't.
serious.
They're being, I know who it is.
Yeah, but I just remember that too. Like
Remember
that
you
week
telling
was
me
just
that.
terrible. Yeah, and I was just like, dude, you think something? I never do that. Like, yeah, that week was terrible, honestly. But I think also we can say a high note of that week on Friday as we're driving, or Thursday as we're driving to the game, Wells got dismissed from the hospital. And as we were loading the bus, he sends a teamwork text like,
That was crazy.
let's freaking go! Like this hype teamwork text, like, yeah. So that was like awesome. Everyone kind of had their mood.
That was also probably the best meeting, like Friday meeting we had, because we had a great assistant, Coach Pete, came through, and he was named the head coach at the time, and he had a speech about burning some buses, and we were so like ready, juiced up, ready.
Was that the Easter?
That was next week.
That week, I think everybody was still kind of like shell shocked.
Did he say Easter Michigan?
Yeah, that week was Michigan.
I thought he just.
That was crazy because it was burn the buses.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know. I don't know. So I got the shirts up.
But we got to,
Speeches, they were the best. Those speeches were
Yeah.
we stayed in the same hotel.
Like pizza off.
Oh yeah. I forgot we went to this.
We went to Detroit twice.
That made me so mad. The second time.
It was a crazy time, and it kind of, to me, it just adds on to what your guys' experience was when you go here. Wells heart attack, all the adversity in games, all that kind of stuff as well. Let's do a few fun ones. This will make some people mad too. So best teammate, you can define that however you want. But best teammate, so a guy that maybe was there to pick you up all the way through, or a guy that helped you out, or just was fun, whatever. I know you got a lot of them, and whoever you don't say is gonna be mad at you. Right?
True heart, hands down for me. Yeah, he's an incredible guy and always there for me, and super positive and stuff, and super encouraging, and true heart for sure.
Yeah, this is like the toughest call because I want to say like everyone in my class that I've been here with and stuff like that. But if I had to pick like a teammate that like helped me athletically like the most and everything was Grant Glennon. He was that transfer that they brought him in. He started many games at Florida State, and when they gave me the job, he was so supportive. And I don't think I would have done as well of a job early in my career and been able to do what I did without his help and his advice. Like, I mean, this is a guy who started 40 games in the ACC and had played at Notre Dame, Clemson, all these places. So him giving me input on how to deal with different things and in-game and all this stuff, I think it gave me the best situation possible to succeed. And it was so selfless of him.
Mine probably, well, not probably is. Mine is Howard Watkins. He was here a long time ago. The reason why I love Hojo is because he had told my, so Hojo's from Cincinnati too, from where I'm from. And there was just one day before I even got here to EKU, there was one day just out the blue. It's just funny how God works things out. My parents were at Chick-fil-A, and I wasn't there. And Hojo happened to be there too, out of Cincinnati. And they were just talking. They were talking about me and everything. And then he had told my parents that I got Vinny. He said, I got Vinny. When he gets here, I got him. And when he was here, man, he had me, man. He had me. He pretty much taught me everything I needed to know. He kept me on the up. He kept my mental straight. There were certain points where I was about to go off at certain points, and he was like, Vinny, chill. And then I'd be like, all right, man. So he was kind of like, he was definitely a big brother to me when he was here, man. And I just love him dearly for that.
Mine is Tex Bailey. He is one of the hands down best people you could ever be around. Always positive, always hyping up the crowd. Whether he played or not, he never cared. As long as he was around us and as long as he was having fun, that's all that mattered to him. Tex is my guy.
I kind of got like 2 or 3 maybe, but I can't. It's hard to say go without one of them. But Shane Dirks is probably one of my best teammates because I lived with him when I first got off campus, and he taught me how to really live off campus. This was my first time living by myself. He taught me how to go get like a money order to pay my rent and stuff, pay the electric, stuff like that. It's like a big brother to me, another big brother. And then a guy that really like pushed me to be better and like in a weird way. It was Jeremiah Bailey. Since he was like my backup. So if you got Jeremiah behind you, seat's hot.
Yeah,
you better.
He's hot.
You better go. So that really like pushed me to be greater because I knew if I was messing up, there's a guy right behind me that's fully capable of taking it. So, and then one more that I'm sure everybody loves, even though he was here for only like a year, is Byron May.
Yeah, Byron.
People probably don't even know who that is, but Byron, one of my favorite teammates, hands down. Talk to him like every week. Love Byron.
He got some airtime this week. He was on the
Oh, yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
You could tell he was so nervous.
If he didn't have the hair, I probably wouldn't have recognized him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great. That's awesome. How about a teammate you missed the most this season? So if they weren't on the team this year, but they were on the team at some point in your college career, you say, man, I wish you could have experienced what we experienced this year.
I'll go first on this one. I'd say Austin Welch. He was a part of the specialist room and a huge factor in it, just personality wise, one of my best friends. So I would say him for one aspect of just the specialist, bringing in 3 new guys, just having him around, always a good thing. I know Coach Dad probably want me to insert some kind of recruiting pitch right now for Austin, but yeah, come on back. I'm actually having dinner with him after this, so I'll let you know. And then actually I'm going to go twofold because I had a roommate for 4 years that transferred out, Maurice Atkins. And so he was my best friend, and we've roommates since freshman year, so would have loved to have him here for the last one and always talked about doing senior day together, so that would have been awesome.
I got 2. One is Nick Cheeley. I wish Nick could have been around. He was been around for a long time, part of the program, stuck through a lot of stuff that he didn't have to. Left when he left, became all whatever he did at his school, so I'm happy for him, but I wish he could have been a part of this. And Logan Blake, he's one of the better players I've ever been around, and he just made me so much better at nose guard and made life a lot down making tackles. Nothing against Maddox and Sully, but this dude was reading it like it was nothing. He was a student of the game, and yeah, Logan would have been a huge part of this team.
Did anybody say him already? Number 18?
Parker?
Yeah. Love Matt. Matt played a great season this year. Amazing season. I don't think nobody expected Matt to do what he did this year. But man, number 18 though, man, I would have loved to block for that man one more good time. Love to block for him one more good time.
I would love to play with Parker again. I would love to Parker on the sideline, but love Matt too. I would love to play with Kyle Bailey. Slept on name. Kyle Bailey and Logan Blake behind me. I can do whatever I please. They're gonna make the play.
That'd have been nasty, bro. That'd been so nasty, bro.
We was talking about that also.
Talked about that. I was just about to say
that's all right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Maddox. Maddox, you can be third. Sorry, Sully, you can be fourth. But them two,
definitely the starters.
Yeah, we had our 5 years. We've had
some dogs, bro.
You bring back Parker, Jado, J5.
Man,
just
saying.
Davion.
Yeah.
You're talking about Maddox, though, if you put Maddox in his 5th year,
Yeah.
He's gonna be better. He's gonna be better than that. Way better. Way better.
But I won't get to play with him. So.
You're struggling, man.
I know who your answer was. I figured you were gonna say Parker. So
Yeah, but I could say all the O-line. Juan, Zach.
Who's your favorite guard to play with?
Yeah, who's your favorite guard?
I would have loved to play with VT next year. No, but Zach or even Drew, Juan, Nate, even Josiah. Yeah, there's a lot of O-linemen that I wish could have been a part of this team for sure.
Napier.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who has been the most entertaining teammate?
Gabe Fletcher.
We can all
Gabe Fletcher, bro. Gabe Fletcher is a sight, bro. That is the funniest, man. That's my brother, bro. I love Gabe. Me and Gabe, pretty much, that was my roommate back at, we were in the dorms. Me and Gabe grew up together. Me, Ryan, D-Beck, we all done grew up together, man. And we love us some Gabe, man. Gabe is good people, and he can light up a room at any point, make anybody laugh, man. He don't mind talking to nobody, don't mind talking to anything, or don't mind saying what's on his mind. But that's what you love about Gabe.
Josh Carter and Maddox are definitely 2 other people that
Hilarious.
extremely just lighting up the room. DB as well.
Latham.
Oh yeah, Latham too. Yeah.
I think McGraw's hilarious. Just
McGraw, yeah.
I don't know. He's just
Brandon's hilarious until it's 3 a.m. on the bus and everybody's trying to die down. Brandon's still yapping.
Him and Fred.
Yeah, Fred over there sleeping, snoring.
Aaron would be sleeping.
I think Green's hilarious too, bro.
No, Green's funny though. Green's funny. Y'all got to get him on some shows, man, next year.
Yeah, I told our freshmen like we weren't this funny as freshmen. I don't know how y'all.
He was scared
I
as
feel like
freshman.
the people that we are, like we're more welcoming than. No offense to our
Yeah,
had, but yeah,
When I came in, bro, like,
more nice and welcoming to them.
like, yeah.
It's not as much like
when you were.
It was like, I mean, it was like Bart Hall, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, Bart, yeah.
I mean, it was like Bart Hall hazing me, yeah, like, yeah, like I got freaking
I got Jalen freaking Neverhart pushing me in line and stuff. Like,
Yeah, would never do that, bro.
Lucky we're nice, yeah.
Well, it says a lot about the culture that was built.
Yes, it does.
At the time that you guys have been here and coach and staff have been here, it's it is a family oriented or as a team. Again, if the seniors are overly picking on the freshmen, it's not going to feel like a family.
Right, no.
So for these guys to be able to come in and share that personality
Mhm.
and be who they are from day one shows the culture that you guys have built in the time that you're here. So I think that's pretty cool. You can define this one however you want to as well. All right. So you're the wildest teammate that you had.
Wildest.
Jalen Hurd is a top.
Yeah, he's
wild.
yeah,
Like
he's top
he's
two.
wilding, but I'm not allowed to say anything he's done because it's too wild.
Jalen Hurd is up there, right?
I don't even know. I
Jalen.
want to say like the 2022 specialist were in the whole, but Jeremy,
Oh, yeah,
Matt,
y'all were.
Grant sometimes.
Y'all are different. Yeah.
They're hilarious.
Yeah,
They're crazy.
What's his name? Phil, one of the wild.
Phil is
Phil's
crazy. The
wild.
Australians are just
The
crazy. They're built
Australians are
different.
different.
They're
Like,
built different.
Like Phil, the person, he wants to impress you in the weights that nobody like good at. Like he overhead press with you like 260 just to do it. It's like he would row with you like 280.
He wouldn't go
row.
hard on like squat day, but then bench day came around and he'd be like taking like 3 scoops of pre-workout and just be like telling people to smack him as hard as he can.
Jackson Bardall was crazy. Jackson Bardall and Phil were roommates. So
Yeah, they were roommates.
Jackson Bardall was crazy, yeah.
Wildest
Yeah, that
person
matches
we've
up.
ever encountered. Chase Lassiter.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I love Chase.
Yes.
He is a wild individual.
100%. That's a crazy man.
No, I love
That was
Chase.
so
Love you, Chase.
I just love like him.
Yeah.
I just
He'll
love
be
like
on
him
the scooter.
skateboarding. to
Oh, God, on the scooter.
You know the coaches were like terrified. Our starting linebackers just like doing skateboard tricks on his way down to practice. They're like,
He looked like a 9 WWE wrestler. All
yeah.
His dog, his senior day and stuff.
Oh yeah, his dog.
wore a camo shirt. Yeah, he was crazy.
That man's different. That
Just
probably is by far the most.
He slung K-Ron?
Yes, I do remember that.
That was crazy.
I remember that. Yeah, he was something else, man.
Plenty of fights.
Love Chase,
that
though.
year. I don't know.
It was just inside drill, getting into inside drills. Like I hate going inside drills.
I hate inside
We
drill.
hate him.
Payton half the time. I can say this now.
I
Payton
can't
would be
relate.
like, "I'm going down."
No,
You chill.
It'd be like-
you chill.
it'd be a play where it'd be going the other way. I'd be like, hey, D-Big, I'm getting hinging right here. Like, I'm good. Like, just play your guy. We're
It's
good.
okay. It's okay. I was doing it
I
too,
would see
bro.
the tight end look over and he'd be like, "Don't box too early."
Learn how to properly brother-in-law.
Hide it from
All
well.
I say, hey, do all I say to do, take chill on this one.
All I say.
We know how to make it look good. Like, we was practicing hard.
Yeah, we practice hard. We practice hard.
Crazy.
So,
many.
one play could help. One play could help.
Crazy, bro.
What's the biggest trouble you got into in practice or a game?
Oh, Payton. So in the fourth quarter, which is dumb. We had to. So we used to do fourth quarters. We had to do the whole stadium, do all that, do whatever we had to do in the stadium, then run down to Fresno, which people probably don't know where that is. It's all the way down past all the rec fields, all the way down in the corner by the railroad tracks. And mind you, we do team right after that. And one time I slipped and fell. Payton went too hard, in my opinion. He was trying to reach me. I fell. And instead of just saying, "Hey, big, don't fall," Coach Wells makes the whole team get on the line, and we run for the rest of the fourth quarter. Not just run, we're just running.
Oh, I do remember that. We went
Up and
down the field. We went up and down that field.
Shuttles and we
we were doing football with no pads or anything.
Without a
And
football.
I'm
Without
watching
football.
D-Bake and like someone fell or something. It was like a D-Bake trip.
Who
Like,
was, who was it? It was the person that always gets
oh, it
hurt.
was Jacoby.
It was
Yeah, Jacoby.
Yeah.
Jacoby McLaurin, always getting hurt.
So he's yelling at us because
So you
we
Jacoby.
were playing football without pads, like he told us to.
Jacoby's
So
running the portal too.
honestly, I'd rather do that running than do the rest of fourth quarters because we still do that finish drill.
Yep.
We have to finish practice and then do the finish drill.
That's
much
much
easier.
finish drill though. That was like 18 200-yard shuttles. That was terrible.
Yeah, but just like, I mean, if you're a lineman though, like you like
Yeah, I
act
mean,
like you're running, like. But,
I actually remember, I can say all this now, I guess. From our perspective, because the specialists, we don't have any use without footballs. So we would leave fourth quarters while you guys practice and go use footballs with no coaches. I mean, just because, like, we would just go off and do our thing. No, listen. But then we would have to do what you guys did. And, like, once a certain time hit when we had to be back with the team, we would have to run all the way. We'd have to leave the stadium and run the 8-minute thing. And then we'd have to come down. And when we came down was right when that happened. So we didn't see it. We heard Coach say, get on the line. And Pat and I are standing behind a thing, and we know that the finish drill hasn't happened yet, and that's when we're supposed to be down there.
Yeah.
And so there's a split second where we all duck behind the shed. And Pat goes, should we stay up here? And I was sat there, I'm like, and it was like this long of a thought, and then it was, what if he doesn't stop? And like there's a certain point where and you're not going to see. So we just decided to run down and we did all of them, thankfully, because then they blew up practice after that. But yeah, we almost tried to dip out on that. We're like, we didn't do it. That's what we would always get mad about. Specialists would always try to act like they did something where we're doing something, like practicing really hard. Like we'd get all the footballs if we saw you guys start to get yelled at. Because we did not want to be included in the blood. Because we're like, we didn't do any of this.
I don't got one.
Shout out to Coach Wells. We didn't get on the line during camp once.
Yeah, that's
Oh, camp once.
That is crazy.
That's crazy.
What
During the
is-
season too.
We didn't do.
We didn't get on the line during the
Get on
season.
the line at all this year.
We didn't get on the line at all.
8-win season, didn't get on the line.
That says a lot.
Actually, did we get on the line once?
Did we?
No, we did. We did. No,
Yes, at some point.
I'll never
We
forget.
definitely. We
Get
might have got on the line
line.
like once.
About
Like
once.
literally
At
once.
the beginning.
Jack Wiz.
Yeah, we got on the line once.
Yeah, Gabe
Once.
with the team.
Gabe's like,
Well, the one summer practice I got to, one of the old linemen got thrown out of practice and coach was yelling, "Take a
Yeah, he's gonna
scholarship."
take his.
Oh, that was Kyler.
Season, but-
Yeah, that was the name of Kyler.
Yeah.
He stirred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jock, what was number 2's name?
Oh yeah, Jack Webb. Bro, that was probably
What's his last name?
Jones.
Jacquez Jones had an Antonio Brown moment when he ran off the
Nah,
field.
that was
I
probably
believe it was Antonio Brown when he did that in New York before Antonio Brown. And then him and Coach Wells was arguing all the way off the field. Get out of here!
That always sucks too, because like whoever's in trouble or whatever, if they get kicked out of practice, then we have to run. Like that's the same thing as our specialist thought about you guys.
Mhm.
We're running for these guys who just got kicked out of practice. Like we didn't do any of it.
There was one time somebody missed an interview and he put those.
Oh, was it Mike? Or
It was JB and
yeah, it was JB. It was JB and
Yeah,
it was.
They didn't show
Yeah.
for the Jack Burford show.
And Coach Wells made us run by.
Yes, yeah. They said y'all gonna stand right here in the middle. Y'all go watch them run this. Oh
They said they do it and then they just skipped it.
What's the Jack Buford?
yeah. Yes. Yeah, man, we had some crazy times, man.
Tell me about the future outlook of EKU football. So for next season, you guys know the guys that are ideally coming back. What their locker room looks like with all the guys that are graduated out and some of the guys that are transferring out. Like, what do you say is the future outlook of the 2025 EKU football?
I mean, I think it's going to be pretty good. Got a lot of young guys, a lot of talented guys. Got guys coming back and stuff, and I'm sure recruiting. I mean, we've had success obviously this year, so I'm sure recruiting makes it easier for recruiting and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of these young guys too are going to step up, and people like Maddox and stuff are just going to continue to grow and stuff like that, and continue to raise the culture and the standard. So, yeah, I would say the future is pretty bright for sure.
Is the left tackle for next year on the roster?
Yeah, I think, yeah, potentially, yeah.
Fred? Is that-
Yeah, I mean, Fred definitely has all the abilities and talent. You just got to work hard and stay locked in and stuff. And then you got guys like Mason Sula, who, if he steps up, and so he could be playing and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, future's bright. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's exciting. It's a young group that can look like an old group in a couple months from now. Lots of guys that gave depth to our team where we really needed it, and lots of guys who continue to improve, like throughout scout team and throughout practice this year. Like, we set a standard that I hope they continue with and keep building on. That they can do this. They can keep working and keep adding people, and with a lot of them staying, I think they can really do a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's so weird too because we had like 21 seniors, which sounds like a ton, but I still saw us like, especially early in the year, as like a young team. Like, because we had so many young guys play like crucial roles. So the fact that like you return so many guys who have started as many games as they have, and they have another year, or like some of them like 3 and 4 years of eligibility left. And the freshman class is really solid, top to bottom, even the ones who didn't play. So I think the future's super bright in Richmond.
Yeah, you look at, you got Calwise and Tyrell that started most of the as freshmen. And then you got Madison Gray, that were sophomores this year. So there's definitely.
Jeremiah was a sophomore.
They just got to stick together, man. I mean, that's the main thing.
DJ stepped up.
Yeah, that's the main thing, though, just with this transfer portal and all this different stuff. People think the grass is greener on the other side, and it's not always bright. And that's just the main thing. If this team can stick together and just continue the standard that we have built here and just continue to build off of that, like Ryan said, man, this team could do a lot of amazing things. They could see a Natty probably next year or 2 years. They just have to stick together. That's really the main thing, and try to stay together. Like, keep that family atmosphere that was created here. Just keep that. If they keep that, they can go do amazing things.
I think just people gonna have to just step up into leadership roles. Like, it's there for the taking, especially with 21 seniors. I see Jeremiah and Maddox and BB, which is Braden.
Yeah.
To step up in big leadership roles. Hopefully Tyrell can get talk a little louder. Cam should step up into a leadership role.
I was looking at the D-line group because you guys seem to be one of the older groups out there. And I was thinking, man, they're going to lose so much. And then you look at it, you got Jeremiah still, Brad Gurley, Simon Gee, Gabe Fletcher, Davion, Darius, Bryce Tapp, Cedric Andrews. And there was some other young guys, too. So you're still actually veterans there, too, after graduating now for at least 4 or 5 defensive linemen.
Yeah, our D-line room has been a big, like, developmental, like, people, like, we've had guys in there since Gabe has been there. It's going to be 6 years.
Yeah.
And they've learned from, like, us, and we've learned from the guys before us. And it's just always, like, when you think it's not all the way there, it's always reloaded. Like, when we lost TK and KD and Shane, they probably thought, they're losing a big part. And then me, Ryan, and Mar stepped up, and then Jeremiah stepped up the next year after that. Just keep reloading there.
That's so awesome that we're going to come back next year and get to watch Gabe play. That's going to be so awesome.
A few individual questions real quick. So, Vincent, you moved from guard to tackle. I know you had played tackle before, but you were filling in for Josiah.
Yeah.
And who just got drafted. And so not only are you moving positions, but now you're replacing a guy that just got drafted. But was there extra weight to it? Was there like
not really no extra weight. I think my big thing was because I'm a perfectionist. I like try to do everything right, and I'm a team guy. So when they moved me to that spot, it kind of wasn't I didn't blink twice about it. I just was like, okay, let's do it. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, it's hard moving from guard to tackle. Just as far as you got a lot more quicker guys compared to you're going against a lot more bigger guys playing guard. But it was definitely rough. But you had guys like Payton and Kyler, my backup. He was behind me. He played the position for a long time, and just had guys like that just helping me improve on that and just keeping me confident in that position. And then my parents also keeping me confident in that position because I ain't gonna lie, I struggled, man. I struggled this season, man. It was rough, especially knowing how good I was doing at guard too. And it just is what it is, though. I just hope I can reap the benefits of it. If that makes sense. So
Payton, I know you've been asked about this a lot, but you went through coaching change early in your career. Then you got to play with the same quarterback for a long time. And then your last year, he's gone. He abandoned you. But just that transition of you had the consistency for a partner for so long, and then to know that there's one more year left, and I've got new voice back there. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, at first, it's a little bit of the unknown, but I think once you get to know Matt Morrissey, and I feel like, watching the games, you get to know what kind of player he is, the way he puts his body on the line for his team. Like, he would take 100 hits a game if it meant we could win a football game, and that's just the kind of player he was. I was excited to block for him and stuff, and he was a true competitor, and he loved to win, and I think he was a great leader. One of the best leaders on the team for sure, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Like, if we had a penalty or someone, holding or jumped offside, he'd always be on with the offense, bend, don't break, guys, bend, don't break. And that he would say that every time something bad happened during a drive, and he'd say, bend, don't break. And then next thing you know, if it's 3rd and 14, we just got a holding call, bend, don't break. And then we get to line, run the play, first down, just stuff like that. So he was super encouraging and positive, and yeah, he was an awesome player.
Yeah. And then right on debate, you guys had some, again, really veteran guys that graduated out. You talk about Shane, wanting to be one of those guys and things like that. So, Brian, we talked about when you were still co-hosting with me, it's my turn. It's my turn. Do you feel like once you got that turn, it's everything you thought it would be?
It was everything I thought it would be and more. I didn't have the statistical as good a season as I wanted to, but what we got accomplished as a group and as a room is what we wanted to get accomplished. We wanted to be dominant, wanted to be known, and wanted to be acknowledged that we were a good D-line and we were a good front. We could sub in and changeable out guys, 3 in, 3 out. It didn't matter, and we could go out in there and play defense. And having those older guys and seeing how they did it, I'm happy the way we did it, and I'm happy the way we got after them. We made a 3-man rush look special, and that's what we've been trying to do for 4 years, 4 or 5 years. We finally accepted the fact that, hey, we're only going to rush 3, so we might as well try and get back there. So I'm proud, super proud of what we accomplished as a D-line.
Yeah, D-Baker, you had a great statistical year to go along with it, right? What was this final year like?
It was good. I'm just grateful that I even got to spend it with the guys that I did, man. That's really I'm just grateful, man. I don't really care about all the stats and stuff and accolades and all that. I just want to go out there and have fun. I'm just glad I got to do it with the guys. Wish I could have done it with K1 and Kyle though, but that hurt early in the season. But I'm glad I got to do it with Maddox and Sully and Ryan, Jeremiah, Marv, Gabe, all the guys.
Yeah. And Duff, you had a few different holders along the way, a few different guys put the ball as well. We've talked about it personally. We still have a great relationship with Jeremy. Get a chance to see what he's doing now. You and Pat spent a lot of time together as well. I want to know though, because every time you start talking about practice, everybody kind of rolled their eyes a little bit. All right, so sell us on specialists have it hard too. Is that true?
No, I'm not going to say that. So our practice schedule basically looks like we go out earlier than everyone else, but we don't have meetings. So it's a give and a take. I'd rather go out with no supervision than have meetings. So we go out and we just get ready before everyone else. And specialist practice is really, you have coach overseeing you a little bit now, especially because there was not that before and that could cause issues. But now we had a coach overseeing us, but really, it's really what you make of it too. There's certain guys who it works better for them if they're not up kicking, punting, snapping, because it's redundant on the same muscles. Me, I'm the opposite. I got to do stuff the whole practice. I get bored kind of standing around watching these guys, and I feel like I need to perfect something. There's something new every day. So it's a mix and a match, but I will say that's the best part about being a specialist here is you do have all that practice time and freedom to really kind of do what you want to do with it.
Did you enjoy watching the one-on-ones every day?
Yeah, that was fun. Well, I would always have trouble.
I would always just look over and be specialist, just
yeah. So when they did it with
one-on-ones,
they would take our little section of the field, so we'd have nowhere to go. But so we would just stand and watch. But I remember one time, and maybe I had like a bad snap at a practice, like my sophomore year or something, and Coach Wells was over at one-on-ones and like ripped me and Grant for not snapping like every second of the practice, and we were like, we don't know where to go. So like I used to always get nervous, like even like this year until like the end of the year. Like when you guys were in one-on-ones, I'm like, hey guys, you guys want to toss and look like we're doing something? Like I never wanted. Pat was like, whatever, I'm gonna stand and watch, and like I'm gonna be right, like I'm gonna be drinking water, talking to Corey Rush, the photographer, watching the. Like he didn't care, but I would be like, hey Quaid, why don't we toss and make it look like we're doing something?
How many of you guys met your current significant other while you were in college?
Ryan, thank you, Vinny.
Everybody cuffed it.
I've been together with my girl since I was a junior. When did you meet your girl, Payton?
2022.
So yes. So yeah.
I put my hand up.
I didn't see you. He was like this.
Yeah. Are you guys engaged?
No.
No, not there yet.
She wants to be.
She wants to.
Yeah, you should be already there, Big. I don't know what's going on with you. You should be there.
Tight.
Funds are tight.
I've been dating my girl for 3, so.
Yeah. NIL for long snappers are.
Yeah, you got 10 on me. 10 years?
We should have one more year.
Yeah.
6?
It's cool to see like doing something like developing.
Yeah.
We could have got one more year.
So let me ask you guys this: Watch that. In a world of transfers, watch that. I mean, Payton, you're looking at right now is a guy that's likely to get drafted. If not, then sign on after the draft. Like, why stay at EKU?
Yeah, I mean, I think all you have to do is just look at the people who graduated and what they've done and the memories they've made and the success they've had. I mean, all of us in this room have been a part of, conference championship, 2 playoff appearances. Should have been it would have been nice to have the first playoff win in 30 years, but yeah, I mean, we had 2 7-win seasons, 8-win season. Like, I mean, if you want to come to a successful program, that's going to push you and not only get you ready. I mean, we always do events like suits for seniors and stuff like that. Like they take care of you in that sort of ways and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I just can't imagine transferring or anything like that. I just feel like sometimes it's better to stay, even if, you might not be in your ideal playing situation. Sometimes it makes you a better person to stick things out and fight through the storm and stuff.
Ryan, your dad has been very vocal, right? Yeah. I love you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, watch that.
I think there's plenty of reasons to stay. It's the culture and the people is what keep you around. But it's really just the bond you have with your team, and the thing about building a program, I think, is sweeter than just flip-flopping from a program. And like, we built something here. Like, we got memories here. We got family here. We can always come back to something like this. And I think another big thing with the portal is you don't understand how much better a team might be when you leave.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the sad part of leaving a place like this, leaving a close culture like this, and leaving like a family-oriented group that cares about you and loves you and wants to see the best in you. When you leave and we end up doing better than without
What you were doing, yeah.
Like, I would much rather those people be a part of this. So I would say don't leave, because you can build something instead of having to find something.
Yeah. Build or join, that's what I always say. You
Yeah.
gotta decide if you want to be part of something, building something, or just doing something that's already existing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not, in my opinion, it's not as fun.
And just do one more quick,
Oh, yeah.
like, my freshman year, everyone transferred after the coach got fired. So I feel like when this class came in, I was kind of like my class. I grew close to them and stuff. But I'm saying, when you play 5 years, 5 years of football with people, especially with Coach Wells' program and culture, you're going to go through so many hard times. They're only going to make you closer and closer, like, each year. So I think that's a big reason to stay too, is more years of hard work with each other. You get closer, and that will raise the standard. Everyone getting closer and their bonds getting stronger and stuff like that.
Yeah. I came here originally, and the reason I came here was I wanted to win. And I thought the staff, it was very clear that was the goal. And I didn't win a whole lot in high school, to be honest. So, that was my kind of goal. I want to be snapping field goals and PATs and not punts. and also the culture that it had, and the Warren Cleat Club, and like all the different resources and people that pour into the program. I just thought it was so unique. And I say that's also another, like, it's still a reason to stay, and a big reason. I would say it would be crazy. I mean, I feel like I've obviously talked to everyone before. Like, we all played in the era where transfer portal became a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think naturally every single person in this room, and I think we'd be lying if we said we didn't at one point think like, oh, I wonder what I could get. Like, not saying that they were like, not saying everyone was like, I'm going to leave, but like, it's just natural with the portal being the portal, and like seeing these people, like you may see someone who you think you're better than get like this big time offer, and you're like, oh, like it just makes you think. Like, you can't help it, especially when you've never experienced that. And so I think the important thing to know, and like as we've stuck it out, like I think it's the best decision of my life. I mean, to this point, just sticking it out, making those meaningful relationships, and knowing that, like he said, and everyone said, the grass isn't always greener. I mean, it's really, everyone always said, like, it's greener where you water it. And so if you plug yourself in, and you, yeah,
That's a good one.
Where'd you get that from?
I don't know. I heard it on the phone.
That's the way you made that up.
No, I didn't pick it up.
That was a good one,
I thought that was like common, but yeah. So just like plugging yourself in here. Like, I couldn't imagine leaving these guys at any point in time. I can't imagine having to go to a new locker room and meet complete strangers and try to build the relationships and replace like what I had here. Like, that just wasn't gonna happen. And like I have fond memories, and will always like have fond memories, and walking out of Roy Kidd Stadium after a win and going out to the Warren Cleat Club tailgate lot, where like a lot of the guys probably didn't even know. Like, I built good relationships with them, but at a certain point, like when I was early on, like they didn't know who the long snapper was. You know what I mean? But they just welcomed me with open arms, and like you don't get that at other places. And so, yeah, I'm glad I stayed.
Watch that.
I mean, I feel like it's obviously football is a business, but I feel like it's more of a family here. Like, it's more like intimate, if that's the way I could describe it. I mean, I would stay because like it's really a family here. Like, I've expressed that. Like, I couldn't imagine going into a new locker room with people like I don't know at all. Like, I don't know a single person in there. Like, I'm sure it works out for some people, and I definitely would not transfer if you have 1 year. Like that.
Yeah, I would.
If you transfer in like the spring, like you better have a full year. If you have like 6 months to do it, they're just thinking about, oh, this guy's one and done. We can try to get him in, get what he has left, and then just be done with him. And that's how a lot of people think. Like, oh, I mean, yeah, I'll agree with Duff on the always wondering, like the wondering part. Yeah, but like I'm a very like faithful man to Jesus Christ and stuff like that. So like I don't want to be. I always tell my girlfriend, like, I don't want to be selfish in the situation that I'm in and be selfish with it and then jeopardize it for something that it might be better. Like, I don't want to jeopardize it. So I would say just don't jeopardize the situation you're in for something that may be better. Go with what you got guaranteed.
The reason I stayed, everybody pretty much hit it on the nose, man. It's a family atmosphere here. And EKU is where I grew as a person and grew as a man. I learned a lot here at EKU, and I couldn't imagine going to the locker room, not seeing Payton, not seeing Ryan, and not seeing Duff in there, man. I couldn't imagine doing that. And, I mean, it just sucks now that it's over now, and I won't be able to do that again. But I just appreciate EKU for all it's done for me, man. Just the love and the family atmosphere. Because, like, I came from a good family, but this is my extended family now. You understand what I'm saying? And I just appreciate it and love everybody for it, man. And I don't see myself anywhere else, but I couldn't see myself anywhere else.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about what's next. We know a couple of you guys got some postseason stuff. Obviously, you got Pro Day coming up in the spring, all that kind of stuff. So we'll go around the room. Anything that you got going on, with light bowls or stuff like that, and then what's kind of your goal? What are you going to be working towards now, leading up to Pro Day? Payton, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so just what's now? I'm just working out on stuff, training. I'm trying to finalize where I'm going to be training at. Starting in January, sometime in January, and then go to the Hula Bowl on. I think it starts January 6th. The game's on the 11th, but I think I'm supposed to be there by January 6th. Yeah, hopefully just do well there, and hopefully, keep moving up because, if you do well in the bowl game, then you can invite to the East-West Shrine Bowl and so on. So hopefully just do well there and then just keep training until, like you said, pro day and stuff like that. So, yeah, those are really my plans. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. Figure out where I'm going to be training, getting ready for pro day for sure. Gonna try and do some showcases here and there. Want to try and still play at the next level, no matter where. If it's NFL, CFL, UFL, don't matter. Hopefully, go to Canada. I think Canada would be really cool.
That's what I'm saying.
But that'll be my goals. And if football don't work out, I'll try and do something here around Richmond. Try and get back into the podcast scene. Try and get back into somehow to work, and maybe even ask Coach Wells what's up. We'll see. Something like that.
Yeah. Are you not locked into the stuff there in Nashville for your training?
Oh, I can definitely go back home, but when you got another home like Richmond, you might as well make the most of it.
Sure.
Yeah, for me, pretty similar to these guys right now. I'm just working out. I'm trying to figure out all the logistics of where I'm going to be training, what I'm going to be doing, who I'm going to be doing it with, and stuff like that. But I have the Dream Bowl, which is the bowl that Jeremy went to last year. It's in Dallas in January 17th, I think it is, or 18th, somewhere that weekend. And, just get ready for pro day. But also I got on top of that, I got 4 different meetings this week just talking to people who have been in the business world and potential employers. No idea what I want to do yet, but I'm getting my MBA in the spring. So I'm just making sure I look down every avenue right now.
I'm working on my MBA right now too, so I'm continuing with my schooling, and then I'm gonna be training. Don't know where yet, but I'm gonna be training for pro day and everything like that. I have an offer to do a senior bowl thing, but I don't know if I'm gonna do that yet. Just training, really.
Yeah.
Mine's pretty much the same as them. Just training, trying to get my weight back up. Working out with my dad here and there, going back and forth from Cincinnati. Got to try to find a job to get a little extra money in my pocket. That's pretty much what I'm doing. Just getting ready for pro day, man. That's it.
Does me and Duff talked about it, or Ryan mentioned it. Does Jeremy being in the CFL, did that open some eyes to everybody?
I think it did. I definitely, because that's like I told my parents, I just want an opportunity in the NFL somewhere. Whether it's UFL, I don't know what you call it. They got so many now, but wherever it's, I just want an opportunity there. But hearing Jeremy's stories and all his different things that he's doing now at the CFL, I mean, it definitely opens your eyes. Man, the CFL ain't that bad. It ain't that bad. So yeah, definitely.
He just won the Grey Cup.
He just won the Super Bowl.
He's been living large, that's for sure.
I would too.
It definitely feel like in high school, I know I was one of the only people from my high school to go to Eastern, so felt like that was a route to Eastern now, from my school to Eastern. So from Eastern to CFL, yeah, definitely Jeremy. He's one of the first people we've seen do it. So
there's lots of opportunities out there, which I think is cool. Now there's more doors, and it's still the ultimate goal is the NFL. Those doors can get used that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the goal is to be NFL from day one, but I think that's cool. There's a lot of opportunities for you guys now that maybe weren't there 10 years ago,
Right.
As well. So a lot of things there. We're going to wrap up the program. I forgot to download the commercial for Dr. Stereo, so I'm going to share that on my socials at Sports Stove. If you'll follow us on there, Twitter, Instagram, and we'll share the commercial for Dr. Stereo. They do a lot of great stuff here in Madison County, especially. And again, they do all your audio and visual stuff. The guys are getting ready to get a quick demo once we wrap off the year. Here are some really cool stuff that Dr. Stereo has to offer. So make sure you come check them out. Their showroom is by appointment only. They're right next to Cracker Barrel here in Richmond. So make sure you check them out. And again, follow our socials. We'll make sure to share some information about them on there. Guys, last words. Anything you want to say? Anybody you want to shout out? Anything that you want to do? Now's the chance. We have millions of viewers right now watching.
Appreciate you, EKU. Love you.
I want to say thank you, EKU, for all you've done for us, man.
There it is.
Yeah.
Thanks to you too for
appreciate you.
like that.
This is awesome, man. Love this, man.
Having all these old people in here.
Yeah, it's been
I
awesome.
feel like I know I didn't come in with you guys. But I'm going out with you guys.
Yeah.
So with my family moving, we're stepping away from the personal EKU coverage. We're still working on getting some coverage for EKU for other people, but it's been a blast, and I appreciate you guys being willing to come on the show and talk. and not skipping out like the guys did on Buford. And always showing up. I appreciate that. Of course, Rickson and Isaac along the way helping out with that. Coach Bill's been really cool about it too. And Matt Rowan was able to build a decent relationship with him too. He was always pretty open to letting me have some access to the university, which was really cool too. So we're gonna do one more show at some point. It might be after the new year, a big finale episode. Hopefully, getting all the coaches on the sport and stuff like that as well. And we'll wrap up the Sports Stove Local Hour. But like I said on our last episode, hopefully at that show we'll have breaking news about more EKU coverage coming down the road as well. So guys, I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Everyone that tuned in, thank you. Those that tune in later, thank you as well. And I know we had some comments about some echoes going on at some point in the show, so we're going to see if we can clean that up for the audio version of this show. You can go back and listen to that on the podcast here in the next 24 hours or so. So I sure appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, thanks to Dr. Stereo for letting us use their facility today. And until next time, we'll see you around the Sports Stove.
Beautiful, guys.